Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Profiles for Ashtabula County Breakfast Series. My name is Brian Anderson, Executive Director of the Growth Partnership for Ashtabula County. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank the sponsors for this series. Besides the Growth Partnership, also Leadership Ashtabula County, Kent State University Ashtabula, and Gazette newspapers. Today's speaker is Scott Strayer, Ashtabula Site Director for Cristal Global. When we were able to put Scott on the schedule for this year's Profiles series, I was excited, frankly. I think this is a unique opportunity, and the best part of my job on a day-to-day basis is being able to go out and meet with individual companies and learn more about the exciting things they have going on and visiting their facilities and learning more about the things that we don't realize on a day-to-day basis are going on right here in Ashtabula County. Before I came to the Growth Partnership, I have to admit, I probably didn't know a whole heck of a lot about titanium dioxide or titanium tetrachloride or all those other terms that I haven't had to deal with in probably years going back to high school. But certainly since then, it's been amazing to learn all about the processes and products involved in its production, everything that goes into it, as well as all of the different products that it goes into as end products. You could probably look around this room and we could probably easily find 25, 30 different products in this room that their product goes into. Secondly, I think Cristal is a great example to look at manufacturing right now. Traditionally, obviously, it's been very important to this community, to this region, to this country, and I think Cristal can be a reminder of what hopefully manufacturing can be and will continue to grow in the future. It's a very educated, skilled workforce competing globally and nationally. And I think that's an important message for this entire county, that manufacturing is still a part of our future, and it's going to take a partnership with companies like Cristal and others, with everyone here in the community to see that to fruition. And finally, it's another exciting opportunity because Cristal is very committed to this community. Besides Scott's individual involvement in a variety of activities here in the county, the company supports a number of different charities and organizations, and also, as I go around the community and interact with different committees and organizations, it seems like there's always another Cristal or Millennium employee that pops up in those organizations. So it's certainly a culture of giving back and being a part of this community. So I will let Scott do the heavy lifting on the chemistry lesson, so I will turn it over to him for the rest of this morning. Thank you.
Frank, can you hear me? First of all, thanks, Brian. A little bit you may or may not know, I'm also the Vice President of CDC and the current President of Growth Partnership. And through Growth Partnership, I guess Brian's got to know me well enough that he did a great job of covering the presentation I'm covering this morning already, so I can just field some questions. Cristal, Millennium, SCM, it's all the same company. We're proud to be in Ashtabula County. And I want to take this opportunity to just share a little bit about Cristal, a little bit about the site, what we do there, and really talk a little bit about the opportunities that we have. And when I say we, I'm saying everybody in this room, everybody in the community, because that's how we approach things at Cristal. We're a part of the community, and we want to be a partner and show the success, or grow the success of the county. Now, let's see if I can get this to work. A little bit about Cristal, and I'll refer to my notes along the way. We are the #2 producer of TiO2 in the world, second to DuPont, and we're the second largest chloride producer, with a total sales combined of about $1.6 billion. Largest merchant titanium chemicals producer. To get everybody to understand, the titanium drivers comes from titanium tetrachloride through processing. We're sitting on 7 manufacturing plants, 6 countries, 5 continents, with around 3,200 employees worldwide. When you look at our value chain for titanium, start with mineral sands mining, basically our material, and I'll throw these up. Basically, the short version is we take the black stuff and we make the white stuff. So when we bring in our ore, typically through penny dock, it's basically a sand, and we convert that over to a very fine pigment. Also some products, zircon, ilmenite are different various ores. Titanium dioxide, and I'll cover a little bit more information on titanium dioxide in a second. And then I already covered the special titanium products and ultrafine. One of our applications that we're working on with several businesses, primarily over in Europe, is through different applications of ultrafine, that pigment will actually reduce emissions. We've tested it in various applications, and that's a new product that we're looking at driving. And also titanium powders. I'll cover that in a second. TiO2, where is it used? You touch it every day. It's basically everything that you've touched this morning has probably got TiO2 in it. Plastics, paper, coatings, rubber, ceramics, it's probably got at least a little bit of TiO2. The typical application is when you go paint the house, the coatings, that's where a lot of our pigment goes to in that application from a coating perspective. But it hits virtually everything. Plastics, for example, when you go and put the siding on our house, depending on the application, durability on how it's resistance to the sun, the UV rays, is an application that we get into and tied to a market related to TiO2. Our locations, and I apologize, it's a little, whoops, I knew that was going to happen. Basically just showing from a global perspective. Ashtabula is the only TiO2 plant in North America for Cristal. As you can see, there we go. Quite a few facilities in Australia, and most of them are mines. And that's where we have applications there that we are getting a lot of our raw materials from. Our headquarters is in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. We also have a corporate office and a technical center there. A little bit about the Ashtabula complex. Basically, 2 plants, 1 union represented by AFL-CIO Local 7334, and then a non-union plant. We currently have around 510 employees and about 40, 50 full-time contractors. We've been able to go and move forward with a growth project, and so we're a little bit higher on the contractor staffing at this time. Ashtabula accounts for 30% of all of Cristal's TiO2 production worldwide. We send our pigment all over the world. China, South America, Europe, and we cover all 3 major segments of the TiO2 production. Coatings, the Plant 2 facility is primarily a coatings plant. The Plant 1 facility makes coatings, plastics, and paper products. So we cover all 3 major segments: coatings, plastics, and paper. We do have a cogeneration facility situated in between the 2 facilities. We have the ability to go to island mode where we can sustain all of our steam and electrical needs, but we also tie into the grid. And we implemented that facility back in a time when we had old coal-fired boilers, and we saw a significant reduction from an environmental standpoint. Since then, our capability is around 220,000 pounds of steam an hour and around 20 megawatts of electricity. Here's just the short list of different companies that we work with and I apologize because there's more than that on the list. There's several significant organizations that we work with, and there's more that's not on the list. One of the things we're most proud of is our efforts and our employees around the community. If you go back and you look at the last 10 years, we've contributed in either company contributions, employee contributions, or service hours of about $1.5 million a year. And the one thing that I'm most proud to say is our employee contributions. I think that's a little bit underestimated, and I'll cover a few things here in a second. Here's just a short breakdown of the various areas that we focus in. It's kind of one of those you can't do everything, but the things that we do, we want to do well. Each year, both plants sponsor, if you will, a community event. The event is designed to be less about donating money for something versus the employees, the family members, our contractors, all working together to make a difference in the community. Here's some pictures from the various projects that we've had, and that is, as you can see, a great day. And to be honest with you, it's more than a day because the coordinators usually spend about 3 months preparing for that, working through the organizations, getting donations from various companies to support the events. As you can see, through the picture in the middle, lots of children, lots of family members there to go and do work. Shown here is our latest, the Kingsville Library Samick Welcome Center, which included some interior painting, door replacement, ramp exchange. We purchased the wood and built sections of the ramp to be used. Conneaut Little League, painting the fences, rebuilt the door, painting the barn, speech and hearing rehabilitation in Ashtabula County, the outdoor play equipment. I want to take a little bit of time to go over what's being done in Ashtabula at the complex and where the opportunities are. There's 4 main areas that we're focusing on in growth. When we went back and looked at 2008 and 2009, those were challenging times for everyone. The nice thing that I can say is we were in a position that we didn't end up laying anybody off. I give a credit to the company, the headquarters, and supporting us through that time, though we did have several opportunities where we didn't fill positions. So when you look at it now, because of that, we've been able to sustain, and now we've hit some opportunities. We're looking at, I'll say, growth opportunities, but realistically the top 2 are growth. The bottom 2 are more supporting the business long term. The first one is in our base TiO2 operation. We're looking at growing that business where it makes sense. We've got 1 active project. We're looking at moving forward with a second project, and we hope to continue to look at expanding the site. We have been very fortunate in the timetable and the needs within the global economy and within Cristal, and we're seeing a significant demand increase on TiO2. We hope to leverage those opportunities with growth projects, like I mentioned before, at the 2 plants. The second one is in our titanium business. So I'd come back to it on our titanium product powders. Cristal did acquire a facility in Illinois that it's a new technology to convert titanium into a titanium powder. What it does is allows a lot of efficiency improvements around the processing and making of titanium products. If you look at a high-end impeller that you'll have on a jet engine, it may take 20 pounds of material to make 1 pound of a product. This new process has the opportunity to significantly reduce that, so somewhere between 3 and 4 pounds to make 1 pound. Obviously a significant advantage for anybody that's making titanium products. That is a new technology, and we're looking at developing the infrastructure to support the growth of that area. Again, that's over in Illinois. Raw materials, we have recently acquired BMAX in Australia, and we're looking at growing opportunities there. We're also looking at growth opportunities of our other raw materials. Coke, chlorine. We've got a great partnership with Ashtabula, and we continue to leverage opportunities for increased chlorine demand and other raw materials to support the growth in TiO2 production. Utilities and infrastructures, usually you put that first. I'm putting that last for one reason, because I want to talk more about that than anything else. When we go and we look at where we're at globally, we're competing against not only our competitors, but also internally for growth projects. When we're dealing with a plant over in Saudi Arabia, guess what? The advantage is energy, labor that we're challenged with. We'll see 1/4 or 1/10 the cost that we're incurring. So the key thing for us is to leverage what we do well. And one of the challenges that we face at the site is on the utilities and the infrastructure. We all know that area was originally built for Union Carbide, and a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of challenges we face are related to those. So several things that we're looking at and partnering with, whether it's organizations such as Growth Partnership Support, the county port, various organizations to work through those issues around, if you will, reliable water, steam, electricity, air, and then, if you will, maintenance support for our buildings. Challenges. Put them in 3 categories. Environmental permitting. We've taken a different approach, and we've heard a lot of comments around the struggle of getting permits. We've taken a more proactive approach. About 2.5 years ago, we started proactively meeting with the Ohio EPA to set the stage of, here's what we want to do. Don't know when exactly we are going to be able to do that, but here's where we want to go long term. Whether it's 3 years, 5 years down the road. And since then, we have been very successful because, as we all know, when a growth project, you don't have 5 years to work through the details. You may have an opportunity and you have a 12-month, 18-month window. We've seen, because of the proactive approach, that we've been able to get through our permitting challenges with the growth project that we're going through right now in a much more timely manner, in a more positive relationship with Ohio EPA. The other part of it that comes in is sustaining an environmental footprint. We all know CO2, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide are issues. And we're working with the Ohio EPA and understanding what concerns that they have and regulations that are coming down the pipe. And we've put programs in place to address those issues. Workforce requirements. We've seen, and we probably, I don't know, Mike, 75, 80 employees we've hired in the past 18 months. We're probably going to double that in the next 5 years, just because of the age of the workforce that we have. Our needs are operators, mechanics, engineering, supervision, and really we've seen hiring in virtually every aspect of the business. Some from an HR perspective, purchasing, accounting. So we're really seeing a lot of needs at the site. Education to support manufacturing. And I'll turn around and put it back on me or us as manufacturing. I think we need to do a better job of getting out there and saying what jobs are available, what are the needs, and getting to the schools and saying, here's what's out there. There are a lot of good paying jobs out there in the manufacturing organizations, but we don't have, or we're not seeing the young talent coming out of Ashtabula County with the desire to get into those jobs. And I think as manufacturing, we own part of that. The last one, I already kind of talked about it, is reliable and cost-effective of energy. We're all struggling with the cost of energy and having a reliable power. We're working with First Energy and Suez Degs, who operates our cogen facility, to look at and tapping into more reliable power as one of our strategic initiatives, which will get us improved reliability. I think that's a challenge we all face. How can we work together? Educational program for manufacturing. As a whole, as a county, as a community, we need to speak together with one voice. Through our conversations that we've had with various organizations, it's what? We talk to so-and-so, they need this. I need maintenance. I need engineering. Somebody else may say these needs. As a whole, manufacturing needs to get together to a loud voice of here's what we need from our educational systems to support where we want to be long term. Educate the students. We have done, and we're trying to ramp up our activities about going in through the high schools, if you will. Gonna help me if I miss it, but opportunities to go and talk to students about what's there. Where we have, whether it's, we've had mechanics, we've had engineers, we've had supervision, management go in and talk to the high schools. We need to do more of that to educate the students that are coming out of high school. And at the end, it's about a partner with education. The last thing is, and this is from our perspective, is alignment and a consistent message. Through various meetings that I've had, we've met with the governor's office, we've met with senators, congressmen, we've met with Ohio EPA, and it's all around a consistent message. What do we want to get done? What's important? And if we can work together to make sure that here's the sound message. From our perspective, it's around permitting. You can't get a growth project in unless you have the permit in place. The second one is we got a huge asset. When you talk about it and you talk about the one advantage that we have versus our plant in Saudi Arabia is water. They struggle with, and they're paying 10 times what we're paying for water because they have to clean it up coming out of the sea. So we got to continue to leverage that asset because it is big. And I think it'll be more critical going forward. And then obviously anything we can do around the energy side of things. Reliable and cost-effective energy is really the foundation, and it's one of the key things that's looked at and evaluated from a business perspective on where those growth opportunities are. For those businesses that are here and represented today, I know it's an item that's constantly being looked at, and how do we manage that? So how can we leverage with all of the activities that are out there that we're talking about to get that not only short-term but long-term? So I just wanted to share a few of the things. We have a pretty good website. If you ever want to go and take a look on the Cristal Global website, please do. And what I'll do is open it up for any questions.